Well, good morning, Sophia.
Good morning, Lottie.
Thanks so much for joining me today. I'm really excited to talk to you about your project and foundation, Neigloo, and we'll get to that. However, first, for all of our wonderful viewers, I'd really love you to introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about where you are in the world, what you're doing, and just an introduction would be great.
So, first, thanks, Lottie, for the invitation. And of course, my name is Sofia Leal. I am 16 years old. I was born and I currently live in Bogota, Colombia. I'm studying 11th grade in Gimnasia Los Cabos, and Gimnasia Los Cabos is a school that mainly focuses on entrepreneurship and a teaching model called PBL, or project-based learning. And as an example of this, in ninth grade, students must develop a project based on a company and entrepreneurship project. And in ninth grade, I wanted to take it more on the social side, but I had the time to continuously work on my project. And I came up with Neigloo, and we'll talk about it more later. But basically, I think that what is amazing about this is that this project, I think that must not only stay only as a school project. I have always kept in mind that, for example, my project is a real, viable, and necessary solution. And I know that I must work hard in it to bring it to a reality and, to deliver it to those that really need it and, help around the world.
Fantastic. Very inspiring. And I still can't quite get over the fact that you're still in high school and you already have this project out into the world. Sophia, what is Neigloo? Can you tell us about it?
Well, I would like to first share you some images about the story, the project. I would like to start, of course. The project's name is Phoenix, and the little refugee, this little unit you see right here, is called Neigloo. Basically, everything started when my father told me about the Armero catastrophe. And the Armero catastrophe was perhaps the biggest natural disaster that our country has gone through. It was an avalanche of mud, lava, and ashes that occurred in 1985. And back then, and even in neutrality, the survivors of these natural disasters received little help, and at least in Colombia. And they're aided with these fabric tents that do not provide the adequate conditions for habitability. And when I heard about this, I tried to empathize, and I imagined how agonizing was the situation. I thought there should be a solution. And for my project, I said, I have an idea, I could work on it. And I commented the idea to my father, who is an experienced architect. And he liked the idea, he committed to help and work with me in the project. And of course, he gave me the technical knowledge that the project needed, and I learned a lot from it. And we worked together for this project named Phoenix, which translates to Phoenix Bird. And the project mainly focuses on giving the adequate habitability conditions for better life quality for families that have been affected by natural disasters, that are victims of forced displacement, or that are in general condition of vulnerability. And we created this unit of refugee named Neigloo, which comes from the words new and igloo. As you can see, it has a structure similar to the igloo. And this Neigloo provides exceptional conditions of temperature, insulation, privacy, security, resistance, and comfort. And another benefit of Neigloo is that thanks to the lightweight materials it has and the structure and design, the Neigloo is actually, it allows assembly, and this allows an easy transportation, and therefore there would be lower costs of transportation of production. As you can see, it can have multiple beds, shelves, it even has a little kitchen right here.
How many people can sleep in the Neigloo, Sophia?
It has a capacity of around 4 and even 5 persons. This is planned for a family group. Another great thing about Neigloo is, as I said, it can also be fixed. And for example, a usual relocation period lasts about 2 or 3 years, at least here in Colombia. It is when people just survive from a natural disaster and they wait for a proper relocated house, a proper new house. And this lasts 2 or 3 years. And let's suppose the Neigloo is delivered. It passes this 3 years, and it would then be taken into a maintenance place. Any imperfection would be corrected, and it would be packed back and sent it to another family. This cycle could be repeated for about 4 times, and this would give us a total lifetime of Neigloo of about 12 years. This would, of course, decrease drastically the cost of production. Okay, here are more of the
so here we're seeing how
more
you
of the best.
actually can get the people in, right? Yeah.
Yeah, here is what a common like neighborhood of Neigloo would look like. The project would succeed with the help and support of NGOs, organizations, governments, states, or companies with social responsibility that want to invest in it and want and desire to help those families in need. Well, as I said, the project name translates to phoenix bird, and as we know, it is a mythological creature that emerges back from the ashes. And I thought of this as I wanted the affected families to emerge back from the ashes, emerge back from probably the most difficult moment of their lives with the help of Neigloo, and so they can be safe and feel safe with it.
Sophia, it looks so modern and so well designed. Can you just tell us a little bit about that sort of process that you went through, maybe the discussions or the thoughts that you had around getting it to this point of, you know, such a beautiful product? Because I think some people would say, hey, you know, they can live in a tent.
First, I had to evaluate the possible and direct problems, the necessity that it has worldwide. And of course, I had to investigate a lot. I had to work with the help of my father, who is an architect. And of course, he helped me with the designs, and all of these technical little things really make the difference. And that's why it is so important. And nonetheless, I also contacted with professionals in renders, so you can see like the visual part, and so it's clean, so it's really represented the way it would be. Of course, the aesthetic, I had to be informed about project entrepreneurship, project development, about financial accountability issues, and overall project broadcasting. That is almost like the stage we're currently in.
So what types of skills do you feel that you've developed and used through developing your project, Neigloo? Because it sounds like quite a broad range.
Well, there are a lot, of course. I principally learned a lot of architectural things, architectural skills, design, and well, communication, of course. But I wanted to think more of what you could apply to any type of project. And well, I could say once you identify a problem, you need to have creativity to think of a solution or to think of a way to improve an actual solution. Then when you have that idea, I think you really need investigation skills to identify if your solution is viable, if your solution is possible, if something should be implemented, or if something really is out of the place. You need to identify these things, and of course, contact professionals, contact people who really know about the topic, so you can do a better solution, you can formulate a better idea. Of course, communication skills, so you can communicate the purpose of your project, so you can communicate it to other persons such as you, Lodi. I'm telling to you, communicating to the professionals you are receiving information from, communicating if what you need, what you want to learn, and listening carefully to what they're teaching you. I think basically creativity, investigation, and communication are the main skills that do not only fit for this project, but for any type of project.
Absolutely. And so I understand that you started this project at school, which has quite a strong entrepreneurial focus or project-based learning focus.
Yeah.
At what point did you feel like you started this at school and it sort of took a life of its own, it came into the world and it sort of moved beyond your school experience?
Well, even since the start of the project, the teachers also, they really got into the mentality of thinking, what if this was real? What if it was a real solution? Well, you should think of a real solution. And I thought, if I'm working on a school project and this should be and it's viable, and I'm studying if it's possible or not, then why not to bring into reality, to make a real product, to give a real solution, as thousands of persons around the world, thousands of families need it. So I thought, then I have to work as much as possible to give a real solution to these families.
You sound like you're working very hard, Sophia. I'm very impressed.
I really try, and even since 2018, we have been working on it. This was actually the business conference at my school, and that is basically when the real challenge stepped in. I went to the UN, to the United Nations, to proposed to expose my project. We went to W Radio, which is like basically the biggest radio station here in Colombia. Well, we went to national and international TV. We have been to radio, and I think we're basically in this diffusion stage, this broadcasting stage, so that the project can be known globally. And any type of NGO organization, as I told you, any type of body of organization can invest in it and make the project a reality for the first production of Neigloo.
So tell us a little bit about your experience at the UN, because I don't think there's many people, well, not many people in the world get an experience at the UN, let alone students.
Well, we went to New York. We went to the UN. Sorry. We had contact with the first press, Associated Press, Juan Carlos Borrero, which is actually a Colombian. That's why we had the direct contact. And there we had contact with Carlos Islam, which then drove us to Millie Jensen, who works in the humanitarian issues office. And basically, we're trying to get to the point of a network so we can bring Neigloo to our reality. So, well, yeah, it's basically contacting everyone as possible to create this network.
Amazing. Sophia, what have been some of the roadblocks, some of the challenges that you've faced since the beginning with Neigloo, and how have you overcome them?
Well, I think the whole project is a challenge. However, any project, as you know, and you always need to be searching for the solution for it. But if there's something from my individual experience with this project, as I'm telling you, is having all of these media conversations, having all of these media broadcasting. I really enjoy it, of course, but I think it's huge and I'm really happy for it. And reaching this one investor, this one body that can make the solution possible, I think it's the biggest challenge and would make the difference. And I think it's huge and it's a task that can get done. And well, I'm working for it.
Amazing. Yeah. So you're talking about trying to reach the investors or reach those people that can support the project. What's your sort of hope or dream for Neigloo?
This is a social project. I just want Neigloo to be produced, to be delivered, to help people around the world, to help affected families in any type of problem, in any type of housing issue. And of course, we need an investor to start with produce this Neigloo. But I do not need or want any type of income for myself. I just want the production of Neigloo. And for the future, I just hope that, as I said, most of the cases of affected families can enjoy Neigloo.
Sophia, what advice do you have for other students at schools that might be wanting to start their own projects that they feel have potential to sort of be in the real world and are not just a school project?
Well, I think you can really summarize it into go for it. We as a group don't really have anything to have fear of. We must not fear of not being taken seriously. I think our generation, the youth, has the capacity to investigate, to get into a real solution, to think about the problems, and we have enough resources, enough tools to think and develop this idea. So there really is no excuse. We must have to face a lot of problems in the future. For example, climate change. This project is a way to adapt to the effects of climate change, as we know that they're terrible. And thinking of the problems that we'll have to face in the future that we'll know will get worse, I think it's better to simply start as soon as possible, to simply start solving these problems. They're not as worse as they would be.
And Sophia, I totally agree. Young people do have these capacities. So what needs to happen, do you think, to enable young people to realize their dreams and realize their capacity? What's your message to educators and to parents around the world?
Motivate and create the incentives for the students. Just as school did with me, they gave me this incentive, the space to work on the project. And I went for it. I started working continuously on the project. And I think it's what really the students need. I think they need the incentives, of course. They need activities to get this done. They need to be educated that their solutions are real, that their solutions are, of course, they can be really useful. And as other advice, I think that as well, educators and parents can, for example, help in technical knowledge, as my father did with me, or maybe if you don't really have the knowledge, give them the contact of any professional that may help, and that it really is the difference. It really makes the difference of making a project grow. And I really think that, of course, the time is really important for the development of a project. So given the time, the spaces, activities, as I said, for the students to work on it, and even if it's like in a more autonomous way, in a more individual way, I think it's really important.
Thank you, Sophia, so much for your time today. We'll wrap up there. Hopefully we'll have an Elon Musk or somebody watching this that can
I hope
can fund your Neigloos. On behalf of everybody, thank you for your dedication, hard work, and persistence in putting this amazing product into the world. And we look forward to staying posted with what happens at Neigloo, and hope to hear some good news soon.
Well, Lottie, thanks once again for the invitation. Thanks for the space. I had a great time. And well, as you said, I really enjoyed it. So thank you once again, Lottie.
Fingers crossed.